Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again, and welcome back to the Christmas of Bruce Campbell. Right on, guys, so if you missed the previous videos in this series, there is a link popping up right now for the Christmas of Bruce Campbell playlist, and if you'd like to see some other awesome Bruce Campbell goodness from me and other people contributing to the channel, then here's a link for the Evil Dead October playlist, where we went through all 3 Evil Dead films and the Ash vs. the Evil Dead TV show. And since we were talking about the Evil Dead, you can't do a Bruce Campbell themed month, no matter what month it is, without talking about something Evil Dead. And in my Christmas of Bruce Campbell, I only actually had 2 movies that have a holiday theme. The beginning one, Black Friday, and the end, which is going to be One Night in December, so I figured why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So for those reasons and many more, today we're going to be covering Evil Dead 2, A Merry Deadite X-mas. Yeah, I don't own a physical copy of this book. I've got the Necronomicon though, so you know, you'll see why I don't own a physical copy of this book. Annie Noby and a clone of Ash Williams, grown from his severed possessed hand because licensed comic book shenanigans, walked down the sidewalk, passing a Christmas Santa display, with Annie looking quite cold considering she's still in her outfit from the film. Ash inquires why Annie would be spending her holidays with him instead of with family, then remarking it probably has something to do with the fact that her mother, father, and boyfriend are all dead. She understandably gets pissed off by this and storms off, with Ash calling after her if this has something to do with that sensitivity thing that they talked about. Back in his hotel, brushing his teeth, the ghost of a young man named Robbie appears to Ash, telling him that he needs his help. He used to work at a horrible Christmas theme park where he found a Necronomicon in one of the storerooms, read it, unleashed Deadites, who then sent his soul directly to hell and plan on using the theme park as a staging ground to eliminate the entire human race. Suddenly, Ash has his shotgun in hand and declares, "Groovy." Annie and Ash, with Boomstick at the ready, enter the park, Santa's secret snow garden, which Ash remarks that they really should have come up with a different name as this sounds like something slightly dirty. It doesn't really, but get used to it, these are the jokes in this book. The place is almost completely empty, which is weird for it being a Saturday, but they see an employee dressed as an elf, and Ash decides to head over and see what's going on. But of course, it turns out that the elf is actually a Deadite, who immediately starts screaming about
devouring their souls and drowning them in a lake of fire.
Ash, as I said, has the boomstick at the ready and swiftly blows the Deadite elf's head off. Annie thinks she hears a child crying in the distance and runs into the bumper car area in search of the child, but only finds a chewy Charlotte doll, who quickly spins its head around all Exorcist style, revealing its Deadite face. The doll screeches,
"Your mommy got her hair cut in a chewy Charlotte, but it wasn't the hair on her head."
Annie throws the doll away, telling Ash that it has his sense of humor. They then hear another sound from behind them and turn to find several Deadite gingerbread men racing towards them in deadly decked-out bumper cars. They attempt to flee, but Annie gets bumped to one side by one of the gingerbread men, who then starts coming straight at her. Ash goes to help her up, but as he gets there, they see the gingerbread man is closing in on them. Then suddenly a hatchet flies into the gingerbread man's face, and something off-panel happens, slashing all the other gingermen to bits, covering Ash and Annie with green goo. They wipe away the goo and chunks of gingerbread to find before them standing 2 small children, a little girl and a little boy, dual-wielding hatchets, and neither of them looks happy. And Annie reacts to this with a, "We're not alone after all!" And that is where the first issue leaves us off. Issue 2 picks up with Ash, attempting to determine whether the kids are real or a Deadite trick. He questions the boy as to how he would get around his parents' parental block on the internet, something that Ash would have no comprehension of whatsoever himself, but the boy gives a long convoluted answer which seems to satisfy Ash, who states that he also would have accepted the answer of blackmail. The little boy introduces himself as David, and his sister is Colette. They were brought here by their uncle, who took off as soon as things got bad, and the only reason they didn't follow is because David wanted to stay behind and kill the monsters himself. Ash and Annie try to get the kids out of the park, cutting through the food court where they are attacked by giant possessed candies and sweets. Ash declares, "When you're attacked by evil food, you have to have the right tool for the job," and clearly picks up a fork before commencing to attack the Deadite goodies while making spork jokes. Ash, Annie, and the kids put up a decent fight until they're attacked by a possessed Christmas tree that grabs Ash. He yells for Annie to get the kids out of there, and as the tree is taunting him, he recognizes the voice as that of Robbie, the young man who got him involved in all of this in the first place. As Annie flees with the children, they ask if Ash is going to be okay, to which she responds that if she knows him like she thinks she does, he'll pull out some kind of last-minute miraculous escape they won't even get to see, and then she's cut off as Ash enters from off-panel, declaring that they were set up by Robbie. Annie reasons that because Robbie told Ash that he liked horror movies earlier, that there will be one big boss they have to defeat, and because this is a Christmas-themed park, it will be at Santa's workshop. So forgetting all about the plan of getting the kids out of there, they go ahead and move that way. Once at Santa's workshop, Robbie pops up out of the chimney in his ghost form, cackling.
What took you so long? We were starting to get worried.
And with that, the door to Santa's workshop burst open, and a horde of Deadite toys and elves led by a giant stuffed teddy bear pours out, charging at them. Ash cuts through several elves with a machete. Annie is attacked by the bear and bores her way through its stomach, and the kids take on some rocking horses. Annie crawls out from inside of the bear and makes her way up to the roof of Santa's workshop, where Robbie now floats in front of a green portal through which reindeer fly. As she makes her way towards him, she begins reciting passages from the Necronomicon. Robbie cackles at her to keep going. All it's doing is increasing his power. But this is the incantation to make him corporeal. And once it is complete, she rams the Kandarian dagger into his heart. And I guess he gets taken by the portal, although that's not exactly shown. We just see his corporeal glasses hitting the rooftop. And then we head over to Ash, speaking to David while Silent Night apparently plays, though it's not coming from any of the characters' mouth as like a speech bubble. It's not denoted in such a way, so it seems like it would just be music from maybe the system there at the theme park. Either way, it's confusing because Annie and the little girl are reading a book, and it makes it seem as if they're singing the song, but again, it's not denoted as coming from them. What is happening here? This is the last page of the book. Anyway, Ash stands victoriously, with one foot on top of a dead elf, as he tells David, "How's that for the warm and fuzzy memories?" Which I suppose is in reference to the blood and the giant teddy bear, but the teddy bear's barely in frame in this image, so it's just... Never mind, because David sure knows what he's talking about, and he replies with, he wishes every day could be just like Christmas. And then, an omniscient narrator pops in to say, what a wonderful world it would be. The end. Overall, the artwork is relatively solid in of itself. The characters are more or less on model, despite the fact that they look very little like their counterparts from the movies, which probably has more to do with licensing issues than the inability of the artist. The action sequences are depicted relatively well, with good emphasis on the impactful moments. The color use and line work are nicely done, conveying the appropriate mood for the given sequence. If I had to say anything against the artwork in this book, it's that some of the sequential storytelling is extremely lacking. Surprisingly often, you find yourself where the artwork alone does not really convey what's just taken place, and you kind of have to use the dialogue to make a leap in logic to infer what just happened. I imagine this has a lot more to do with the minimal space involved in this particular two-part story. However, it is a comic book, and despite all the things that I mentioned about the art that worked well, the most important aspect is the sequential storytelling, which this book fails at pretty miraculously. The writing for this book, however, does not fare quite as well. While the characters maintain the personalities given to them in their previous incarnations within the Evil Dead 2 comic book, they vary pretty heavily from the versions of those characters seen in the films. So for anyone picking this up because they're a fan of the Evil Dead film franchise as opposed to this specific comic book universe, are probably going to be a bit disappointed. Furthermore, the characters introduced within this story aren't really given enough time to develop in any meaningful way, most of them serving simply as plot devices. The plot itself is very bare bones, with most of the page count being padded out with action sequences, and the little bit of plot that we do have is nonsensical at best, even for Evil Dead. The Deadites using the spirit of this Robbie kid to convince Ash to come to this one location so that they could kill him and then go kill the entire human race, when all they're really doing by doing this is giving Ash a heads up, and they're losing the element of surprise. Like, it makes no sense on any logical level, it's just there to set up the specific series of actions they want to work into the story. At its core, it's just bad storytelling. The comedy on display in this book is also very out of keeping with the Evil Dead franchise. While it certainly maintains a bit of the juvenile nature of the Evil Dead humor, instead of going for classical slapstick gags or humorous juxtapositions of Ash flipping from coward to braggart, it really relies almost exclusively on sexualized humor that isn't really evocative of Evil Dead. Yeah, I mean, like, there were jokes made in that general realm, give me some sugar, baby, and all this kind of stuff. But this is very junior high in the fact that it is almost exclusively the style of humor that they lean on to make this book work. And like with the artwork, the storytelling for the sequential narrative is highly flawed, sometimes squeezing as much exposition as possible into a couple of panels mixed with some lazy jokes, and other times skipping massive bits of action or plot that we, as the reader, really need in order to invest or at least follow the story. All in all, the writing is pretty much just a mess, and definitely makes this feel more like a quick holiday cash grab, as opposed to an idea spawned from a love of the Evil Dead franchise, whether it be the movies or the comic books, or even a particularly good story to tell. Right on, children of the screen. So, the Evil Dead films are not in of themselves perfect, so one should not go into this expecting perfection. However, the Evil Dead films do deliver immensely in regard to entertainment value, and that is something that unfortunately this particular two-part comic fails to do. If you're a fan of this kind of humor, then this book might get a few chuckles from you, but if you're just a die-hard Evil Dead fan, obviously you're going to read it, but I don't know how much this really has to offer you, which is disappointing because the idea of a Christmas-themed Evil Dead story just sounds excessively entertaining, and this book is at best a mild amusement. Right on, guys, but those are just my thoughts. Have you read this particular book? Let me know down in the comments below. If you did, what did you think about it? Do you have the same feeling as me, or do you think I'm being a little too hard on it, expecting a little too much from it? Let me know down there below, and thank you very much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and share it with some friends. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can check out not only all the future Christmas of Bruce Campbell videos that I have coming out, but also all the other dope content I've got coming out from the channel. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you all have a good one. Nerds come. Out. Kanda.